I'm gonna be at Pat used to come see me literally every single day, so I was chilling. I was like,
So he came up every day? Every visit?
for the first year, he came literally every single day. When you're in a max, you have a visit every day,
Right,
so
that's
it
right,
alters
right.
on the weekends,
That's
a
right.
Saturday or Sunday. So literally the
Every
first
day.
year,
How
he
far
came
is
every day.
Stafford Hills from?
It's about 45 to an hour, depending on
So
traffic.
he was running up there every day, like coming up there.
Yeah, to
back
like,
to
I
mall.
mean, it got to a point where I had to tell him like, yo, like, I'm good. I'm alright. Like, and I guess like when he believed it, that
Papoose stood by her side through thick and thin through this period, and he even risked his freedom by trying to sneak a skeleton key to her in prison.
This isn't just another celebrity breakup. This isn't the kind of story that gets buried under the next viral headline. No, this is the unraveling of what many once hailed as the symbol of black love. The love story of Remy Ma and Papoose wasn't just a relationship. It was a narrative that inspired millions. It had all the elements of a classic romance: loyalty, redemption, sacrifice, and yet, it all came crashing down when betrayal walked into the courtroom of public opinion. Today, we're not merely revisiting their downfall, we're dissecting it piece by piece, layer by layer. What happens when a man who literally stood by his woman through the coldest, hardest years finally decides to move on, only to be called out for doing so? How does society reconcile devotion with self-preservation? And where do we draw the line between forgiveness and personal dignity? Buckle up, because this isn't just gossip. This is a case study in love, loyalty, and heartbreak. Let's start with the basics. Remy Ma and Papoose weren't just another celebrity couple. Their story had cultural significance. In a world where relationships, especially in the public eye, are often fleeting, they represented something enduring, something aspirational. Papoose's loyalty to Remy during her incarceration was nothing short of extraordinary. He wasn't chasing the spotlight, he wasn't boosting his brand, and he certainly wasn't searching for validation from fans. Day after day, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., he stood in those cold prison lines, not for a photo op, not for fame, but for hope. Hope that love could survive even the darkest chapters. When a man sacrifices his career, his time, and his own freedom to maintain a connection with someone, that's not just romance. That's devotion turned into a lifestyle. And yet, despite all of that, heartbreak found its way into their story. Here's where things get complicated. Remy Ma's recent reactions, publicly criticizing Papoose for moving on, reveal a layer of deep irony. Let's not forget, she was the one who breached that sacred trust. Not once, but reportedly twice. Yet, she expected unwavering loyalty in return. There's an almost surreal attempt here to rewrite the emotional timeline, to set unspoken rules where her mistakes are quickly forgiven, while his need for healing is deemed too fast. It's a classic case of emotional double standards, and fans online have not been shy in pointing it out. This raises a critical question. Can someone who betrayed trust genuinely claim heartbreak when the other person finally moves forward? Or is it more about control than emotion? To fully grasp this, we need to remember what Papoose represented in their relationship. He wasn't just a husband, he was a lifeline. He gave up personal comfort, financial opportunity, and even his public image to stand by Remy. While she served time, he visited every chance he could, often in freezing conditions, waiting in lines most people would never endure. Imagine giving up your own ambitions, your daily routine, and your personal freedom, only to have that sacrifice disregarded. That level of commitment is rare in any relationship, celebrity or otherwise. And when that dedication is met with betrayal, the emotional fallout is inevitable. Fans couldn't help but weigh in, torn between admiration for Papoose's unwavering loyalty and frustration over Remy's actions. And then the betrayal itself adds another layer. Reports indicate that Remy's infidelity wasn't just a private lapse in judgment. It allegedly involved someone within their social circle, a man Papoose once considered a friend. That type of betrayal cuts deeper than ordinary cheating. It's public, humiliating, and shakes the foundation of trust that had been built over years of hardship. When the rap scene gets involved, the drama turns almost theatrical, verses become cross-examination, and every lyric can be interpreted as evidence. Even loyal fans struggled to reconcile their admiration for Remy with the weight of this betrayal. How do you justify breaking the heart of someone who risked everything for you? For many, the answer was simple. You can't. And that public sentiment became part of the story, turning comment sections into virtual courtrooms where fans weighed in with judgments, defenses, and disbelief. After such betrayal, Papoose moving on wasn't just expected, it was necessary. Healing requires action. But notice how he did it. Quietly, intentionally, without fanfare. No flashy Instagram reveals, no cryptic tweets, no diss tracks. He reportedly found a new partner, a boxer, and chose peace over pettiness. That in itself is a lesson in growth. While Remy's social media responses often showcase jealousy, hurt, and unresolved anger, Papoose's approach underscores maturity. He prioritized his emotional well-being over public validation, a lesson in self-respect that few take seriously until it becomes necessary. This is the man once criticized for too much loyalty, finally recognizing that loyalty has its limits, especially when it's one-sided. And this is where the emotional mirror flips. Remy's public disappointment isn't entirely about love, it's about control. She didn't anticipate Papoose would find happiness outside their marriage, and in that sense, she's grappling with losing control over the narrative. Emotional outbursts, live rants, and confrontational social media posts aren't signs of power. They are pain masquerading as pride. And here's the crux. Can someone who broke trust truly be aggrieved when the one they wronged moves on? Or is it simply an inability to reconcile with the consequences of their actions? The answer isn't simple, and this is why the story resonates so strongly. It's messy, human, and painfully relatable. Let's look at Papoose's approach to the aftermath. He didn't seek revenge. He didn't air grievances for public spectacle. He set boundaries, particularly for the sake of their daughter, showing an emotional maturity that's rare to witness. Meanwhile, Remy remains tethered to symbols of their past, engagement rings, nostalgic memories, and the maybe we'll fix it mindset. And here lies an important distinction. Sometimes love stories end not because hate wins, but because one person chooses peace over chaos. Papoose didn't lose Remy. He found himself again. That is the ultimate act of self-respect, prioritizing emotional health over the illusion of permanence. Looking at the bigger picture, this story isn't just about infidelity or celebrity drama. It's about timing, respect, and boundaries. When one person stops fighting for the relationship, it usually reflects a deeper truth. The other person has already stopped deserving that fight. Papoose's departure wasn't about spite, it was about survival. And that's a lesson many ignore in real life. Loyalty, when abused or taken for granted, doesn't just evaporate, it transforms into self-preservation. This is why fans were so invested in this story. It's not just a breakup, it's a cautionary tale. The social dynamics here also reveal a lot about gender expectations and emotional labor in relationships. Society often praises women for forgiveness and men for stoicism. But what happens when those roles are inverted? When the woman betrays trust and expects the man to remain loyal, we see the tension between societal expectations and human reality. Papoose defied the stereotype, choosing emotional intelligence over performative loyalty. Remy, on the other hand, displayed behavior society often excuses in men but judges harshly in women: jealousy, control, and public shaming. This gendered lens makes the story not just about one couple, but about broader cultural narratives. And yet, the emotional resonance of their story comes down to something simpler: heartbreak. Both individuals experienced it, but they processed it differently. Papoose turned heartbreak into healing. He moved forward quietly, methodically, and with intention. Remy, by contrast, seems caught in a loop of revisiting the past, questioning the timing, and wrestling with unresolved emotions. This difference in emotional processing underscores a universal truth. How we handle betrayal and disappointment often defines our growth more than the events themselves. Even beyond the relationship, their story offers insights into fame and its impact on love. Being in the public eye magnifies every action, every misstep, and every emotional response. The couple's struggles weren't just private. They were dissected in comment sections, podcasts, and rap lyrics. This public scrutiny can intensify feelings of shame, jealousy, and regret, complicating the natural process of healing. For Papoose, rising above the noise and choosing a quiet, respectful path wasn't just wise, it was necessary. For Remy, the public arena may have exacerbated her inability to let go. It's also worth noting the cyclical nature of human behavior in relationships. People often project expectations onto partners that they themselves haven't fulfilled. Remy's call for loyalty from Papoose, despite her infidelity, illustrates this projection. It's a classic emotional double standard, where forgiveness is expected for oneself but not extended to the other. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for understanding why the relationship reached its breaking point and why fans are divided over public sympathies. So what is the final takeaway? Papoose emerged with dignity, self-respect, and emotional clarity. He prioritized peace over pride and healing over vengeance. Remy, meanwhile, seems caught between regret, denial, and control. The narrative of their relationship teaches a timeless lesson. Loyalty is priceless when honored but destructive when abused. The aftermath reminds us that love isn't always about enduring pain. Sometimes, it's about knowing when to walk away. And when someone chooses to walk, it's rarely a reflection of anger. It's a reflection of self-worth. At its core, this story is a mirror. It asks viewers and fans to reflect on their own relationships, their own expectations, and the limits of forgiveness. It challenges the audience to consider whether they honor loyalty when it's given freely, and whether they understand the consequences when it's broken. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that personal growth often comes at the cost of nostalgia, attachment, and old habits. Papoose didn't just leave a relationship, he reclaimed his narrative. Remy didn't just lose a husband, she lost the version of the story she wanted to control. In conclusion, the Remy Ma and Papoose saga is more than celebrity drama. It's a case study in human behavior, emotional intelligence, and the power of self-respect. It's about loyalty, timing, and understanding that love alone is sometimes not enough. While fans debate who was right or wrong, the real lesson lies in observing the choices both individuals made and the consequences they faced. Papoose chose healing. Remy chose nostalgia. One moved forward, the other clung to the past. And in that difference lies the entire moral of the story. When loyalty is broken, self-respect becomes the ultimate verdict. If this story leaves you reflecting on your own relationships, your own expectations, or the power dynamics in your personal life, you're not alone. This isn't just a breakup. It's a mirror reflecting the challenges, betrayals, and hard-earned wisdom that comes with love. So as we close this chapter, remember, sometimes walking away isn't losing, it's winning. And sometimes holding on isn't strength, it's denial.